Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Holy Shiftballs podcast. It's Thursday, baby. This is your sacred portal
Woo!
between WTF and Om, where spirit meets sarcasm, healing comes with giggles, and enlightenment means dropping the occasional F bomb. We are your favorite energetic besties. I'm Sharon, and my co host.
And I'm Bethany.
And we are sharing our Holy Shiftballs moments today that made us laugh, cry, and possibly snort our way through the life changing events that kicked us square in the soul and flipped our lives upside down. But somehow, through divine chaos and questionable coping mechanisms, led us exactly to where we were meant to be. And that's here today with you. Holy Shiftballs, it's Thursday. Let's go.
Let's go, Sharon.
Are you
I am
ready?
so excited. I am so
I'm
excited for
pumped.
this. This is going to be really fun, expansive, and transformative. I'm looking forward to hearing all about all of your holy shift ball moments.
And I can't wait to hear yours too. But just before we start our Holy Shift Balls moments, next week this will be the only week that we talk about our own stuff. This is our week. We'll do our Holy Shift Balls. And then next week we have a guest, our first guest. Her name is Terry J. And she is known as the Cowgirl Shaman or also the Horse Whisperer. She's really funny and really fun. She says we're all born intuitive, and she loves to share that with people. And she's a real hoot. So I can hardly wait till next week when Terry's on.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. She
Yeah,
is really funny. Yes.
yeah,
All right.
that
So
will
let me.
be
I
great.
cannot wait to hear yours. This is going to be epic. Epic.
Okay, we flipped a coin, and I get to go first. I'll tell my Holy Shift Balls moments, and then Bethany will share hers with us. All right, so here we go. Picture this. I married a man who didn't just push my buttons. We were each other's demolition crew. Bethany, think gasoline meets flame. Think Bruce Willis in Armageddon. Explosions daily, baby. It was crazy. So I chose to self medicate to get through the day. But to be clear, it's not his fault that I chose vodka and beer as coping mechanisms. That was all on me. And yes, you can imagine when I was drunk, I was about as pleasant as you would think I would be, which just added more fuel to the fire. Self destruction mode, just a tad. Then came
Were you?
2017. I entered breast cancer for the second time. Initial verdict metastatic breast cancer. You've got 2 to 5 years to live. Welcome to my Holy Shiftballs moment. It was like, holy fuck. What? So after my specialist appointment, I go home. And I said, listen, universe, get your shit together. I am not signing off on this plan. This is bullshit. It's unacceptable. And you better come up with a new fucking plan because this is unacceptable. I'm not doing it. You got 10 days, figure it out. So then I proceed to self medicate for the next 10 days, not advocating it, just telling you the story. And this is what happened. So 10 days later, new diagnosis. It's an aggressive form of breast cancer, but hey, it's treatable. We can treat this. So I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. I'm so excited. I'm saying the doctor's right on. This is great. And I'm happy. And they're like, Sharon, you're not understanding the implications of this. Like, this is serious stuff. And, like we feel we can treat it, but there's no guarantees, right? And I'm like, poof, I got this. There's a chance, and I'm good. And so I said, I do understand the seriousness of it. Both my parents died of cancer. My sister is an ovarian cancer survivor. I've been there, done that, read the memo. I understand what the implications are. But I
Yeah.
choose to take this journey with positivity and happiness and know that I can beat it. So if you want to be my doctors, get on board. And they did. They were really good. We had a lot of fun. It was great. And then came,
You gave them old.
huh?
You gave your doctors ultimatums. Get on board or get on out, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we weren't. This isn't doom and gloom. We weren't sitting around crying about this. We had a chance, and by God, we were taking it.
All right.
So yeah. And then came chemo and radiation and surgery. Well, that's Latin for we will now attempt to murder every cell in your body and people that you'll have. choice but to find a place. So that's what I did. And my salvation came into a good group of girls. There was 3 that I worked with, my coworkers, and they would come over every chemo. They would bring alcohol. So after my chemo, I would go home. After my chemo, I would go home and I would have drinks and food with my coworkers, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We drank, we laughed, we had fun, and yeah, it was really good. And so they kept me sane throughout the whole thing. I'm not, again, not advocating alcohol as a way to cope, but at that time, that's what worked for me. So, anyways,
That's some good friends. That is some good friends.
They were awesome. They were amazing. We had so much fun. Like, they made me laugh. We laughed for hours and hours, and that's really, I think, that really helped get me through.
Yeah.
But then I went down the spiritual rabbit
Awesome.
hole, which was great. I had a new appreciation for sweatpants and spirituality. If it had crystals and meditation and candles, I was in. So in 2017, I went through and then spent 2018 and 2019 healing physically and emotionally, and it was great. I left my husband in 2020.
Your what?
And I'm my husband.
Well, hold on. What, your husband.
My
So I
my
guess that's
ex-husband.
I guess
That's my husband.
that
I
is
left him in
absolutely
2020.
awesome.
And you know what? Once I left him, I really didn't need alcohol anymore. I quit drinking and started chasing happiness like it owed me money. So it's
Mm.
amazing. Turns out when you sober up and change your perspective, the whole dang world changes. Who knew? I didn't. Well, it was a brand new beginning. And it really was. That was 2020 was a banner year because that was the year I met Zenka Carroll, founder of LightNet. She created an organization that teaches people how to turn the impossible into possible. And it changed my life. Cue happiness, inner
Wow.
engineering, and a group of like minded people. Internal bliss. LightNet is where I met Bethany, my Holy Shiftballs partner. We started
Woo!
laughing about a year ago, about 2 years ago, I guess we met. Hey?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started laughing a couple years
2
ago and we've
years.
been doing it ever since.
It's
What?
been a lot of fun too. I said it's been a lot of fun too, girl. A lot of fun.
It has been. Yep. And it was nice to meet a spiritual girl who's been there and is still half sane.
Well, that's
And I wouldn't,
now that could be questionable. That could be questionable.
half is too much credit, is it? I wouldn't want you any other way, baby.
Yeah. That's
So then
right, girl. That's
2021
right.
arrives. Yeah. 2021 arrives and bam, bleeding out the back door. I go to doctors. They say, oh, don't worry. You're just bleeding from your vagina. That happens to women your age. And yes, Ron, I did say vagina. So small problem. I had a hysterectomy. You know, the organ you think I'm bleeding from, no longer there. It has left the building. Like Elvis, it's gone. So 2.5 years of, oh no, this is this, and me going, nope, sorry, it's not. But anyways, finally, one doctor says, okay, great. I'm going to send you to the last gynecologist. If she can't figure it out, then, whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. If I'm bleeding out my vagina, it's a medical miracle. And I'll need a priest, not a friggin' gynae, but let's ride this train. Why not? So finally, she's the one who finds a tumor. So for 2.5 years, we're playing Where's Waldo, tumor edition. So she's like, you have an anal tumor. Like, holy heck. I'm like, okay, good, whatever. So this is March. So now we got to have surgery again. And they're like, okay, if this is cancerous, you have another 2 years. Like, it's 2 years life expectancy. So there's the 2 again. So I go home, have another conversation with the universe. Like, get your shit together. The air's blue. I'm mad. And that's the way I left it. So that was March. In April, and this is 2021, in April, my breast swells up again. And I go over to my doctor and he's like, don't worry about it. It's not cancer. It's, probably infection. We'll give you, here's some medication. Okay, great. But I'll do a biopsy just in case. Okay. So he phones me. My birthday, I get up, I'm going to the salon, it's a pampering spa day, and I'm sitting there and the phone rings first thing in the morning. It's my doctor, and I'm thinking, oh, this is good news. And he's like, nope, your cancer's back. It's a recurrence. We have to do surgery as soon as possible. Now I'm like, okay, well, he says, we're going to schedule it for like 3 weeks from now in the beginning of June. Like, nope, slow your roll, buddy, because I already have booty surgery scheduled for the beginning of June. This is going to have to wait. So picture this. I had booty surgery in June, wasn't allowed to sit up for 7 weeks. Okay, couldn't sit. Then after my booty surgery, 5 weeks later, 5 weeks into my recuperation or my recovery, I have a mastectomy. So I had another major surgery in 5 weeks' time. And I couldn't lay down after my mastectomy. So I couldn't sit up and I couldn't lay down for 2 weeks. It was like, holy shit. Yeah. Picture a yoga pose.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. A yoga pose invented by Satan himself. It was nuts. But I, through it all, I was very, very, very fortunate. I had a great support with my friends and family. My brother Kelso and his wife Karen took a week off of work, drove 6 hours to look after me for the first week after my mastectomy, because I was, in between where I couldn't really move or do anything. And they were waiting on me hand and foot. And I was joking with my girlfriend about it, saying, wow, I feel like a princess. Like I've got, all these servants. And what happens? The next day, my girlfriend shows up with a pink tiara. We were just laughing. So, yeah, I felt special, and not even special ed special. Yeah. I felt, normal special, which was a real treat. And you know what? Through it all, I had my sister Shirley. She deserves she deserves a medal and a vacation, and probably needs a therapist. She went to every single appointment with me. And let me tell you, that was no light jog through the park. We're talking 2 to 3 specialist appointments a week for 4 months straight, like we were on some kind of medical pub crawl. And, after surgeries and stuff, they slowed down to a chill 1 or 2 a week, just to keep things interesting. She was there for every single surgery. She took me to surgery. She waited while I had surgery, took me home and stayed with me. Like, she was amazing. And, she even put up with me when I got cranky. And believe me, I had my days. I had some no filter moments that I think made her a little bit nervous. But she didn't even flinch. She stayed, she smiled, and she probably disassociated out of necessity, but she was a trooper through and through. Honestly, Shirley, if sainthood was an Olympic sport, you'd have 6 gold medals and your face on the Wheaties box. You deserve a crown, a castle, and a lifetime supply of vodka. Again, not advocating alcoholism, but it doesn't hurt once in a while. Love you, sister. Thank you so much. So just to recap, major surgery in June, major surgery in July. I finally get back to the office in January feeling like a half-assembled human, drinking coffee like a professional, and boom, another freaking plot twist. I have another lump in my breast, the one I just had a mastectomy on. So I'm like, what the heck? How can this be? And they're like, okay, well, we don't actually remove all the breast tissue. Well, that was news. I was like, well, then what were you doing in there? I thought that's what the whole plan was, right? So anyways, I have a freaking lump. And that's like somebody showing up to an Airbnb that's been condemned. It's like, what are you doing here? There's nothing here for you. What's going on? But anyways, that turned out good. I got the phone call and they said, no, it's just a lump of fat. I was like, whoa, a lump of fat? That is so awesome. What woman is excited to have fat?
Winning!
I was like, man, this is the best day ever. My doctor just told me I have fat. It was great.
Yes.
But while dealing with that circus for January and February, the owners of the company I was managing were trying to sell it. So, okay, we're sold. Nope, that deal fell through. Now we're sold again. Nope, that deal fell through. 2 months, 4 sales, 4 deals fell through. So it was kind of stressful there too. It was like, oh my God, come on. And then at the end of February, they decided to lay me off. So that was a blessing and a curse at the same time. I was relieved, but I was nervous. So it was like, getting this big hug from someone. It was like, yes, but that someone had just farted. You're like, oh, so, a blessing and a curse at the same time. Yes. So the job market in Manitoba is more competitive than a frickin' episode of The Bachelor. So I had no choice but to start my online business and that I was creating. So I started an online business, and I'm really happy. I'm despite everything in the last 8 years, I stayed pretty positive, because what's the alternative? Worry? That's not helpful. It doesn't help. That's actually counterproductive.
Yeah.
So the last 8 years have transformed me as a human. I no longer live in the low vibration of blame, shame, guilt, fear. I now embrace happiness, optimism, love, forgiveness, and peace. A whole lot of peace. And gratefulness, I have that in spades. I'm so grateful.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so grateful I could be the star of a feel good Hallmark movie. My friends and family have been amazing, and their love and support have been more than I could ever dreamed of. It's been absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And now I'm creating the life of my dreams, a life coaching business for women facing major life challenges, plus starting this fantastic, fun, hella good podcast with my energetic bestie, Bethany. And, this wouldn't have been possible without the good fortune to meet Ron and Becky. Ron is the producer of this show, who graciously gave me the opportunity to co-host the Going On Daily radio show one morning a week. And I'm not great at it. The other co-hosts are much better, but I'm learning, and I'm loving it. And they're all such nice people. And so then Ron was looking for people to do podcasts. And I was like, oh, well, what kind of podcast are you thinking about? And so I talked to Bethany and said, are you ready? And do you want to do this? And she's like, yep. So, Ron, we just want to say a big shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you, bud. And we're grateful we met you too. And I'll just
Woohoo!
close with this. If there's anything I've learned in the last 8.5 years, it's that if you can't sit down and you can't stand up, by God, or you can't sit down and you can't lie down, by God, you can stand up and keep moving forward while still finding the humor in life. Thanks so much for listening to my Holy Shiftballs moments. And
Awesome.
now over to you, Bethany.
All right. That was absolutely transformational, amazing story. Experience, not a story. Oh my gosh. I couldn't even lay down or sit. Uh, that's crazy. All right.
Yeah,
Well, my holy shift balls moment. If you're ready
yes,
to, I'm ready. I'm going to share with you.
we're ready, baby.
All right. Well, if this is a holy shift ball story for sure. All right. So in 2020, my only child, Kevin, uh, he was graduating high school, and it's so interesting. I was working this little dead end third shift job, and my manager comes to me one night and is like, Bethany, I need you to clock out. And I'm like, what? It's like 2:30 in the morning. What? Well, what? Clock out. All right. All right.
You're
You
getting
know,
fired. What's
yeah,
happening?
I'm not going to argue with the manager. All right. Sure. Okay. You're right. So I clock out and I pop the doors open to go out into the parking lot. And when I walk out, guess what I see, Sharon? I see every single one of my immediate family staring back at me. I said, oh, and it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is weird. So I get to my mom and she's like, Bethany, I need you to sit down in the van. I was like, okay. So I sit down and she looks at me. She said, Bethany, Kevin, which is my only child, has been killed tonight. He's a driver crossed over the center line, hitting him head on, killing him instantly. And in that moment, I absolutely was devastated, as anybody can imagine. But I let
Mhm.
out a scream so foreign, so rare to me, and I collapsed to the floor. And in that moment,
Absolutely.
I was like, I felt like I was a failure. Like I had failed to protect my child. I blamed myself, shame, anger, grief, sorrow, all of it, all of it. And so 2 days had passed, and it's the day of the funeral. And I'm in my son's bedroom, and I'm on my knees, and I am absolutely distraught. I do not know how I'm fixing to, number one, gain the strength, the energy to do what is being required of me to bury and have a funeral for him. So I'm on my knees and I said, God, please, if you can hear me, please give me a sign that Kevin's okay. So I'm at the burial. I'm walking away from the burial site. It's a cloudy day. And my best friend of 36 years, she's walking with me, has my arm. And she taps me. She said, Bethany, look up. When I looked up, Sharon, the sky, the clouds parted and a rainbow popped through. There was my sign that I had asked. Yeah. In that moment, and in that moment, I didn't realize how big this sign and transformational signal was to me till a little bit later on in my healing process. But in that moment, I dropped to my knees again and I felt a little shift in my heart. I was like, okay. So that next year,
That's beautiful.
I know it was just absolutely so magical. But the next year I started to research NDEs, near death experiences. And what I was finding, this information that these people were coming back and saying about what they were experiencing when they crossed out of the body, the spirit, I was like blown away by it all. I had no idea about energy, frequency, vibration, spiritual. I was not a spiritual person. I did not understand any of this until Kevin crossed. So it's so interesting because I became a sponge. I was like anything and everything NDEs. I just soaked it all in. So it was
because it made you feel closer to Kevin.
Exactly. And it's something about it.
Yeah.
I started to shift within my heart that because these stories were making me feel some kind of way besides sorrow. It allowed me to step into hope, just love,
possibility,
compassion, and yeah, because what these people were saying, that they were not excited to come back in the body, that the body is so dense that they were absolutely thriving and vibing when they were in spirit, back in with God's consciousness. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was so interesting. Here's where the Holy Shiftball starts to come in, because my son is absolutely brilliant. And he's just such a jokester. So one day I'm sitting on my couch and I'm like, all right, shit, I guess I got to go get in the shower. So I walk into my bathroom, I pull back my shower curtain, and I look in the tub, and guess what I see? Coins, nickels, dimes, pennies. Now, I don't know about you, Sharon, audience members, Ron. I don't shower with coins. I don't have a handful of them in my hand. I don't even have pockets in the shower. I know. I mean,
there's not a lottery machine in there spitting out coins every once in a while.
So I picked up.
You're not playing slots in the shower.
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. And so I found this fascinating, and I picked up one of the coins, and I was like, I looked at it, and it had my son's death year on it, 2020. I was like, man, that's kind of interesting, but I wasn't able to put anything together. So fast forward, several days, I get up out of the bed as I normally.
Slow on the uptake, Bethany?
Huh? Do what?
A little slow on the uptake.
Yeah, well, logic is not one of my strong suits. So I'm getting out of bed one day, and I'm like, I make my bed as I normally do. That night, I come get into bed, and I pull my sheets back. Guess what I find in the bed, freshly made bed? Coins. Coins. Nickel size penny. I was like, man, what?
Were you getting a clue then?
No. Oh, no. Like I said, logic is not my strong suit at this point. So I was like, man, this is weird. This is really weird. So here's the main shifting point. So several days, so like 2 weeks had passed, and I'm vacuuming my whole house. Vacuum the whole house, and I go put the vacuum cleaner up. I come back into the living room, and yes, Sharon, I look back down on my freshly vacuumed floors, and what do I find? You got it. Coins. Coins. And I'm like, okay. Now,
was that the moment?
Well, yeah, well, here's the thing. Because shit, I just vacuumed these floors. They were not just here. They're freshly vacuumed floors. So when I walked back in there and saw that, I was just like, okay, this is wacky. So I picked one of them up, picked the coin up and look, and it had my son's birth year on it, 2000. I said, man, I can't. Something strange is going on here. The elevator doesn't go to the top, obviously. Maybe I might have
Just a tad slow.
I might be a can or two short of a six pack. I don't know, but so I pick up the phone and I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, something strange is going on. I am finding these coins everywhere. She said, oh my goodness, Bethany, your father and we are finding coins all over our house too. I said, excuse me, what? And she said, yes, I think it's Kevin trying to communicate with us. I said, holy Shiftballs. I hung up the phone.
That was a Shiftball moment right there.
Oh, total mind. Beep. So I run out onto my deck. And I'm like, man, hey, Kevin, if this is you, buddy, can you show up for Mom, maybe like a bluebird or a red bird, Sharon? The very next day, everywhere I turn and look, there is either a blue jay or a cardinal. What?
Ding, 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 ding. Mom, come on. Finally.
I mean, hello.
Calvin's like, Jesus, it took you long enough.
All right, Forrest, come on. Goodness. And I was like, let's smell the coffee.
Forrest, look.
But it blew me away. And I was like, oh, in that moment, I said, holy Shiftballs. My son is trying to communicate with me. And it just, in that moment, Sharon, I began to get excited. My son started to teach me everything energy, frequency, and vibration. He started to really train me in how to connect, not only spirit, but to communicate. And, I work with clients. I've built a company out of this grief, out of feared as a parent, my worst fear I experienced has now been my biggest healing modality because it led me back to myself. It led me back to my heart, and it allowed me to shift what I used to think is grief into growth, now into grateful. And so, this company, I started Be Limitless Now like a bumblebee because nobody told the bumblebee that they can't fly. And that's just everything. So I started this company, Be Limitless Now, and it's just I'm helping other mothers, fathers, parents, anybody that has experienced grief, loss, separation, and I assist them on an energy frequency vibration level to gain awareness of their mental and emotional bodies and help them flip their worst case scenario into their biggest triumph. So that's a little bit about me and my holy shift. It's
totally that's pretty profound, Bethany. And as I've known you over the last year and a half, your transformation has been completely unreal. Like, you have really, really embraced the communication with your son and embraced the fact that people pass over, but that doesn't mean the connection is lost. That just means we find a new way to communicate. And every time I hear your story, I'm blown away by your resiliency and your positivity and your ability to just embrace it and go with it and help others through it. Like, you're truly amazing, Beth.
Because I'm going to tell you
truly amazing, Sharon, girlfriend. Love you.
I haven't lost anything.
I love it when you say, I'm going to tell you what. I've been waiting for that.
I'm going to tell you what. I haven't lost anything. I have gained so much. I have gained so much. My son, is my biggest teacher. And by me, I really had to take a deep dive and say, as his mother, what's the best way I can honor my child? And that was to he would not want would not have liked me to experience grief and sorrow and misery. My child, the best way I could honor him was to absolutely transform myself into the best healed version. And when I did that, wow, the communication really started to come in, and it's just the most beautiful, amazing gift that my son has given me. And here's the kicker about it. He said, Mom, you and I had a soul contract before you embodied that I was going to give you this experience of grief, loss, separation. He said, because how fun would the test been if you would have known all the answers? And I said,
Right.
oh my
Exactly.
gosh. And when you look at it from that, because that's
Yeah.
what it did. It totally
Pretty smart.
yeah, that totally transformed my soul's evolution. And I took it as a healing marker. Now, that's the thing, is that the most healing for me has been through the shit, the rough, the tough, the blame, the hurt. That's where I've absolutely had my biggest growth. So yeah, I'm here to flip grief
That's
on its head. Knock it out of the park.
You're doing it. You are definitely doing that. And you're
Yes.
helping so many people in the process. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And that's how everybody grows. Really, it's our challenging times. I wish I would have known 30 years ago that a challenge is what makes you grow as a human. And that's when your biggest growth comes, because then I would have really loved my husband.
Your husband?
My husband.
Your husband? But that's a great, that's a great, thing. Is for me, it was about gaining awareness of the mind, gaining awareness of what my mind was trying to do, pain looping, storytelling. And once I gathered and observed every thought, I flipped it. And that right there is a holy shift ball moment, when you're able to gain the control of the mind. Yeah. Yeah.
But also too, being open to possibilities, like the possibilities that you remained open to with making contact with your son, and knowing that it was him leaving coins everywhere, even though it took you a fucking long time to do it.
Well, I mean, here was the thing. I mean, when I set out and said, "Hey, can you show up for me?" Like a bluebird or a red bird, and he absolutely comes in the very next day and stalks me with a blue jay and a cardinal. I mean, when you set out, and it's so interesting, because our crossed over loved ones are trying to communicate with us in so many ways, but as humans, we think that they should communicate with us like how I am talking to you, and that's just not a thing. That's not how spirit communicates. So it's really interesting. No, and it's all energy, frequency, and vibration.
And vibration. Speaking of energy, frequency, and vibration, Becky. Good morning, Becky. Thanks for joining us today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Becky's in the house. Nice to have you.
Awesome.
Nice to have you.
Awesome. Well, Sharon.
So those are our Holy Shiftballs moments. And so that's our show for this week, everybody. And
you can see us next week, same time, same place.
Yep. Same bat time, same bat channel, where we'll again have Terry J, the intuitive horse whisperer, cowgirl Terry J, and she's really funny. Her Holy Shiftballs moment is quite humorous, and she's got lots of them. So I don't know which one she's going to talk about, but she's got a lot in her arsenal, her repertoire. She can pull any of them out at any time. So thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.